Hello kids, I'm Ime Joseph, your English Studies teacher from St. Mary Education, British Montessori School. I'll be teaching Basic 4, and our topic is countable and uncountable nouns. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to define countable and uncountable nouns. You should be able to differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns. Also, you should be able to state the singular and plural forms of countable and uncountable nouns. To countable nouns. I'm sure you were taught in the past that a noun is the name of a person, animal, place, thing, or even an idea. Now, countable nouns are individual people, animals, places, things, or even ideas which can be counted. Which can be counted. For example, we have a few books, an apple, lots of oranges, a house, a dog. We have a few books. Let's try to count the number of books we have in that shelf. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We have 9 books in that shelf. We have an apple, lots of oranges, a house, a dog. Also, countable nouns refer to items that can be counted. Emphasis are on can be counted. Countable nouns refer to items that can be counted, even if the number might be really high, like counting all the students in the school. Counting all the students in the school. Like counting all the people on your street. Even if the number might be really high, long as you can count the figures, long as you can count the objects, long as you can count the people, long as you can count the students in your school. Countable nouns refer to items that can be counted. Countable nouns can be used with articles such as a, an, and the, or quantifiers such as a few and many. I'll take that again. Countable nouns can be used with articles such as a, an, and the, or quantifiers such as a few and many. For example, we have there is a cat. There is a cat. We have here are a few cats. Here are a few cats. Other examples of countable nouns include house, hand, car, flower, paper, and so on and so forth. Now to uncountable nouns. Remember we said countable nouns are nouns that can be counted. Though the numbers may be much, the numbers may be high, very high, but as long as you can count them, they are countable nouns. Now to uncountable nouns are nouns that come in a way that is impossible to count. Impossible to count. Countable nouns are nouns that come in a way that is impossible to count. Example, we have liquids. Liquids are uncountable. Liquids are uncountable, as are things that act like liquid. Sand, air, steam. Things that act like liquid are uncountable. Abstract ideas like creativity or courage are also uncountable. Abstract ideas. When I speak of abstract ideas, I mean things that you cannot see, things that you cannot touch, but you can feel them. things that you can't see, you can't touch, but you can feel them. Abstract ideas like creativity, courage, love, anger are all uncountable nouns. Let's look at examples. We have a glass of water, a glass of water, a bucket of sand, a bucket of sand, a glass of milk, a glass of milk, a bowl of salt, a bowl of salt. Now, like we say in countable nouns, we use articles like a, an, and the. But in uncountable nouns, we cannot use a or an. We cannot use articles a or an with uncountable nouns. To express the quantity of an uncountable noun, use a word or expression like some, a lot of, much, a bit of, or else you use an exact measurement like a cup of, a bag of, 1 kg of, 1 liter of, a handful of, a pinch of, an hour of, a day of. If you want to ask about the quantity of an uncountable noun, you ask how much. Uncountable nouns are used with a singular verb. Uncountable nouns are used with a singular verb. You don't use an uncountable noun with a plural verb. Like the first sentence we have good information are necessary for making good decisions. Good information are necessary for making good decisions. Now that sentence is wrong because we have a plural verb with an uncountable noun. We should have good information is necessary for making good decisions. Remember I said uncountable nouns are used with a singular verb. It didn't have much milk left. Remember we said to express a quantity of an uncountable noun, use a word or expression like some, a lot of, much. Second example we have, it didn't have much milk left. Number 3, I drank a water already. I drank a water already. Remember we said if you want to use an exact measurement, or you use an exact measurement like a cup of, a bag of, 1 kg of, 1 liter of, a handful of, to measure uncountable nouns. And also, we said you use some, a lot of, much, a bit of, to express quantity of uncountable nouns. So the last example we have, I drank a water already. And that is wrong. We should have, I drank some water already. Now the difference between countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns, number 1, they can be counted. They can be counted. But uncountable nouns, they cannot be counted. Uncountable nouns cannot be counted. Number 2, countable nouns, their plurals are made by adding s, ies, en, and so on and so forth. For uncountable nouns, we cannot add s, ies, s to make their plurals. We cannot add s, ies, es to make their plurals. Number 3, they are used with the indefinite article a or an. Countable nouns are used with the indefinite article a or an. And uncountable nouns, we cannot use indefinite articles a nor an to make their plurals. We cannot use indefinite articles a nor an to make their plurals. We cannot say a water. We cannot say a milk. We cannot say a salt. Rather, we use some water, some salt, and so on and so forth. Number 4, few and a few are used to quantify them. For countable nouns, few and a few are used to quantify them. For uncountable nouns, much, little, a lot of are used to quantify them. Now the singular and plural forms of countable and uncountable nouns. For countable nouns, the singular form usually don't take s, es, and so on and so forth. We have a horse. The plural form takes es, so we have some horses. Number 1, we have a horse. In plural form, some horses. Number 2, a ball. Plural, some balls. Number 3, an oxen. Plural, some oxen. And to uncountable nouns, number 1, we have singular, a bowl of rice. A bowl of rice. Plural, we have some bowls of rice. Some bowls of rice. Number 2, we have a bag of salt. A bag of salt. Plural, we have some bags of salt. Some bags of salt. Number 3, a bucket of water. A bucket of water. Plural, we have some buckets of water. Alright kids, we've come to the end of the class. I'm sure by now you should be able to define countable and uncountable noun. You should be able to state the difference between countable and uncountable nouns. Also, you should be able to state the singular and plural forms of countable and uncountable nouns. Ensure to carry out the assignments given, as they will form a part of your continuous assessment for the term.